Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Rising above the banks of the Tiber River stands a fortress steeped in nearly 2,000 years of history, a monument that has been Rome's empires, popes, prisoners, and legends passed through its walls. This is the Castel Sant'Angelo, the castle of the Holy Angel. But don't let the name fool you. This was no castle in its beginning. It started as something far more eternal and far more personal, a tomb. Now, I will introduce it in 5 parts. Part 1. A tomb for an empire. In the year 135 AD, Emperor Hadrian commissioned a grand mausoleum for himself and his family, an eternal resting place rivaling that of Augustus. He chose a spot just outside the city walls, across the river, and spared no expense. By the time it was completed in 139 AD, after Hadrian's death, the massive cylindrical structure rose nearly 21 meters high. With a diameter of over 60 meters, it was clad in shimmering white marble and crowded by a magnificent quadriga full of Roman horses, pulling the empire's career into immortality. Inside, a spiraling ramp led upwards through the core, giving access to the burial chambers of Hadrian and later emperors of the Antonine dynasty. But the peace of emperors would not last long. Part 2. Fortress of the Popes. As Rome's empire faded, so too did the grandeur of Hadrian's tomb. By the 5th century, the Visigoths had sacked it. Legends say they looted treasures and tossed the empire's ashes to the wind. By the 6th century, Pope Gregory the Great, during a devastating plague, claimed to have seen a vision. The Archangel Michael, appearing atop the mausoleum, sheathing his sword as a sign that the plague would end. The structure became known as the Castel Sant'Angelo, the castle of the Holy Angel. From that on, it served as more than just a ruin of imperial grandeur. It was fortified, expanded, and converted into a papal fortress, completed with battlements, watchtowers, and sacred passageways. The most famous of these, the Castel di Borgo, a nearly 800-meter elevated corridor connecting Castel Sant'Angelo directly to St. Peter's Basilica, a hidden lifeline used by popes to escape danger. During the 1527 sack of Rome, Pope Clement VII fled through this very passage to avoid capture by invading forces. The castle became his last stronghold and sanctuary. Part 3. Architectural marvels. The architecture of Castel Sant'Angelo is like an onion, layers upon layers, each reflecting a different chapter of history. At its core is the ancient Roman drum of Hadrian's tomb. Surrounding it are medieval fortifications, completed with a moat, drawbridge, and defensive towers. Inside, winding ramps from Hadrian's time still spiral upward to imperial burial chambers, while Renaissance-era Rome's feature elaborate frescoes, coffered ceilings, and papal apartments that seemed more palace than prison. The statue of the Archangel Michael atop the castle, seen today as a bronze figure, was added in the 18th century, though many versions stood there before. Each sculpture marked the castle's identity as both a protector and a symbol of divine intervention. And don't forget the darker side. Castel Sant'Angelo also served as a prison. Famous figures, like the sculptor Benvenuto Cellini, were locked within its cold, alkaline ceilings, some even tortured or executed within its walls. Part 4. A legendary tale. The ghost of Hadrian. One of the most persistent legends tied to the castle is that of Hadrian himself. They say that on moonlit nights, a figure in white robes can be seen walking the upper levels of the fortress, his hand bowed, his face sorrowful. Some claim it is the emperor's restless spirit, mourning the desolation of his tomb and the scattering of his ashes. Others say that Hadrian, the philosopher king, walks not in sadness but in vigilance, guiding the city he once ruled and the monument that bears his name. In either case, Castel Sant'Angelo is more than just brick and stone. It is a place where the dead whisper, the past breathes, and Rome's eternal story centers. Part 5. Legacy and Simple Living. Today, Castel Sant'Angelo is the museum, a viewport, and a memory. Visitors walked the same corridors emperors and popes once walked, looked out over the city from the same battlements that defended it, and paused before the statue of Michael, sword sheathed, still standing vigil over the city. In a way, it reflects the very soul of Rome, ancient yet reborn, wounded yet surviving, always changing, never forgotten. From tomb to fortress, from prison to museum, Castel Sant'Angelo is the monument not just to the past, but to endurance itself. Thanks for watching. If this story sparked your curiosity, give me a like, hit that subscribe button, and let me know your favorite part in the comments. See you next episode. In the year 135 AD, Emperor Hadrian commissioned a grand mausoleum for himself and his family, an eternal resting place rivaling that of Augustus. He chose a spot just outside the city walls, across the river, and spared no expense. The most famous of these, the Castel di Borgo, a nearly 800-meter elevated corridor connecting Castel Sant'Angelo directly to St. Peter's Basilica, a hidden lifeline used by popes to escape danger.